So now we've learned that your true wealth is your time and your freedom. Money is a trading tool that stores the economic energy that is your time and freedom, whereas currencies leak them away. Gold and silver are the ultimate money simply because of their properties. Fiat currencies are based solely on confidence and always return to their intrinsic value of zero.
Welcome to Bowls on the Table, where it's time to eat with financial fundamentals. I'm Chef Erol Pearl at DB Chef TV. Make sure to like and share this video. Also subscribe to the channel so when I post new videos, you never miss a meal. Tonight, y'all, we have a fantastic show for you all. We are talking about the importance of precious metals in your future. But before we get into that, we are going to see what's happening in the markets. So really quick, we're going to bring up the markets and see what's going on. So we have first the silver's continuous contract. Looking at year over year, silver just pulled back just a little bit. It's been a great year to be invested in silver. I would say the great 2 years. And that's really what one of the things that the show is all about tonight. Let's check out gold. The gold contract year over year. I mean, it's slightly pulled back a little bit from where it was, the all-time highs. But I mean, gold is still crushing it. And then of course we got crude oil. Let's check out crude oil year over year. Crude oil is looking like a buy, y'all. It look like it's a downtrend in crude oil contracts. So I've heard one of my, what I like to call online investment mentors, Rick Rule, say something to the level of the trade is now, like, once everybody starts to get into the gold and the silver and everything, then he's like, he already saw it early, so he made his money, and now his direction now is this way right here, energy. So it looks like he is right on point as always. Y'all go check him out too. The Dow, let's see what the Dow is doing. Let's check out the Dow Jones. Of course, we had an all-time high on the 24th, and it's just a little slight pullback. So today it's looking like it's up from what it was yesterday. The S&P 500 is also pulled back a little bit, but I mean, it looked like it's trying to reach back up to all-time highs. And then the NASDAQ, all of these things are doing the same. Let's see if we can grab some crypto real quick. Let's see what the crypto is doing. Let's check out Bitcoin. And it looks like Bitcoin definitely has pulled back. You know, we've already, but actually November 5th, October 5, a month ago. So a month ago, Bitcoin was, wow, $20,000 more. So a whole 20%. But when you look at Bitcoin always has these violent swings like that. So I mean, it's just something to get used to. I always go by a strategy of, I'm a hodler, so I don't trade. So I really couldn't give any advice or recommendations on trading. I do suggest to people that I love and care about that, you know, own some Bitcoin, own some, you know. I'm not a person who says sit around and watch it every day, because I don't. I'm not a trader. You know, I invest. That's the way I focus on things. But I do take profits when, you know, they look good, because you got to take some money off the table, and it's always better when you quote unquote gambling with the house money. So that right there is going to be what's happening in the markets. So for tonight, y'all, we will be discussing currency versus money and an intro to precious metals. And this is the Bose board. And these are today's financial fundamentals. So try to do a little play on words, but it's always time to eat right here on Bose on the table with financial fundamentals. So we are going to go ahead and get into our questions of the evening and some information that'll help us answer some of these questions. So our first question of the evening will be, what is the difference between currency and money? And the excerpt that we saw on the intro, I had been, I follow this thing. I do research because everybody gets up every day. We all need money. We all need it. It is a necessity. It's not something that is that we can go without. I mean, some people enjoy not having money. I don't know what that's about. But I know for the type of lifestyle that I that I enjoy and the things that I like to do, it costs. But one of the things that we always have noticed that I have noticed is that, things tend to cost more. And it's like, wow, well, why was eggs this price last year, but then like now this year is this price? And then, why was the most common thing I could say, like a Little Debbie snack cake, a quarter when I was, a jit, and now it's $2.50. So did it cost more to make the same oatmeal cream pie? The price of a home was different when my mother was young, and the price of a vehicle was different when my mother was young, and even when I was younger. I noticed these things. So everybody's affected by it, but I had to dig deeper. I had to go and find and try to figure out, like, what is it that I'm missing? What is it that I'm missing? So another one of my, what I consider an online financial mentor, his name is Mike Maloney. He made a documentary series called The Hidden Secrets of Money. I recommend that all of you go and check this out. The link will be in the description. And like, I'm telling you, it is a eye opener. And what we're going to do tonight is we're going to scrape the surface, because it's one of them things where you don't want to seem too heavy, right? In the beginning, you want to, get a little bit, so that way you can go and do your own research and you can ingest this at your own speed and your own pace. All right. So we're going to go ahead and get into our first question. What is the difference between currency and money? And we're going to go to a scene from The Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Maloney. Let's get it.
One of the reasons that we are in the financial mess that we are today globally is that people do not understand the difference between currency and money. Currency is a medium of exchange, a unit of account. It is portable, durable, divisible, and something called fungible. Fungible means that each unit is the same as the next unit. A dollar in my pocket buys the same amount as a dollar in your pocket. Money is all of those things plus a store of value over a long period of time. Even financial planners, bankers, your accountant, they don't understand the difference between currency and money. The currency in your pocket is a medium of exchange. It's a unit of account because it's got numbers on it. It's somewhat durable, it's portable, it's divisible in that you can make change, and it's fungible. A dollar in my pocket buys the same amount as a dollar in your pocket. But because governments can print more and more and more of it and dilute the currency supply, it's continually transferring wealth out of your pocket, out of your bank account, to the government and to the banking system. The reason that gold and silver are the optimum form of money is because of their properties. It's an easy medium of exchange because gold and silver store a large amount of value in a very small area. It's a unit of account. Pure gold has the same value all over the planet. So an ounce of gold buys the same amount here in Egypt as it would in China or in the United States. It's durable. The same gold that Egyptians were using in trade 5,000 years ago is still here with us today. It does not corrode. It's divisible. You can make change with it. It's very portable. You could use something like oil as money. It's just that you can't carry around a barrel of oil on your back. It's fungible. Pure gold is the same wherever it is on Earth. Pure silver is the same wherever it is on Earth. It's limited in quantity. That's the reason that it maintains its purchasing power. Governments cannot print it. Over the last 5,000 years, only gold and silver have maintained their purchasing power. There have been thousands upon thousands of fiat currencies, currencies that are unbacked by gold or silver, and they have all gone to zero. It's a 100% failure rate.
That's pretty heavy right there. But easy to understand. Very easy to understand. Paper money, fiat currency, gold being money, metal being money, having the same, like it's like you can't reprint it. And that kind of, not even kind of, that really answers my question of that little part helped me realize why the snack cake example that I gave, it helped me realize like why the cost of that thing just keeps going up. And then we see, like, you know, currently the inflation, the money printing and things like that. I remember when during the pandemic, I was aware of these things. I had this information like prior to the pandemic, this knowledge of currency versus money. And a lot of people, when I would have conversations, you know, I would say that the government shouldn't have given out money to everyone like that. And that was my first thought. And that was just because I understood inflation. But the caveat is that they shouldn't have given it out to everyone without a way for people that didn't need it to give it back. You know, and that's where I was during that time, because I was still on active duty receiving a paycheck. And it was like I didn't have a like, I ain't get my check yet mentality. I ain't had that mindset, because I understood like there's going to be a price to pay. Nothing is free. And because we aren't taught the difference between currency and money, we aren't taught about inflation. We aren't taught about these things on an elementary level, or really on a collegiate level, that a lot of the people's sense of entitlement would turn around to bite us all, because, you know, now as we see, like, the prices of everything have gone up and along with other things, geopolitical and so much more. And that's even with QT going on. So that ends, I believe, December 1st. And if you don't know what that is, you know, we will do another episode on that. But this leads me to now, should I save currency or money? And what that was like, okay, a lot of times people have this feeling of comfort when they see their money in a bank account. And they looking at that bank and they like, oh yeah, I got this cash, so I'm good. But, you know, I'm here to tell you today that's an illusion, because inflation will inflate the purchasing power away. And what that means is that $10,000 today, $20,000, $100,000, $10 million won't buy the same amount of things in 5 years. That's just how it works. There's no need to be upset about it. It's no need to be like, it's a conspiracy. It's no need to be like, how you gonna tell me I got $10 million and I'm ever gonna go broke? You know, it's because if you don't understand that you have to actually keep something going so it can keep on making, then it's going to get inflated away. So you're either going to have to invest that money in things that will increase in value, or you will spend it all because the cost of things will continue to go up. So that's why I never, you know, some people that I've tried to have this communication with, because they don't understand it, is difficult. You know, so they think like, you know, he don't know what he talking about, or who he think he is. He talking about, I don't got no money and blah, blah, blah. Like, how much money you got in the bank? You know, not a lot. Because I keep my money invested. I keep my money making money for me when I sleep. So when I get up, I don't have to go and chase it, you know? And that's where should I save currency or money comes in. But another clip that we're about to watch will help us internalize this more and break it down. Let's get into it.
Is there an example throughout history of a fiat currency, a piece of paper that's unbacked by anything, surviving?
Short answer, no. Long answer, no. And here's why. When Addison Wiggin took over at the Daily Record, when they got cranked up, Bill Warner asked him to catalog all of the fiat currencies throughout history and what happened to each of them. Addison dutifully went to work. Within a short period of time, he had gone through the alphabet. All the fiat currencies that started with the letter A were done. They all went to zero. He was halfway through the letter B, and all the fiat currencies that started with the letter B, and there were 600 of them in just the first letter and a half of the alphabet, and every single one of them went to zero. Every one. 600 fiat currencies that start with the letter A, and half of the ones that start with the letter B are 600 of these things. Not one ever came close. Do you think this one, the United States dollar, is going to be the first one after all that? I don't think so. No. No currency, fiat currency has ever survived. None.
When you have a runaway inflation, it's punishing the very people who are most productive in society. In other words, the people that produce more than they consume and save the difference. The problem is that those productive people, the savers, save in their national currency. And unfortunately, the national currency is just a fiat piece of paper at this point. So when it's destroyed through runaway inflation, that $100,000 that you were hoping to retire on doesn't exist. And the things that you were going to buy with it and provide for others don't exist either. Now what are you going to do?
So that all seems pretty scary. However, this is going to happen, and you can only play the hand that you're dealt. But the great news is that gold and silver always end up doing an accounting of the expansion of the currency supplies. Basically, the will of the public and the free markets. When governments do this kind of stuff to their currency supply, they debase it. Eventually, it comes back in inflation. People sense the loss of their purchasing power. They rush back to gold and silver, and they bid the value of the gold and silver up in the country until it meets or exceeds the value of all the currency in circulation. This is a process that's been going on over and over again throughout history, except this time it's happening on a global scale. It has never before happened in all countries at once. And that means that this is the greatest wealth transfer in history. Therefore, it's the greatest opportunity in history, and it's not going to happen again in your lifetime.
Now that's pretty heavy right there. He said it's the greatest wealth transfer in history, and it won't happen again in our lifetime. Now, mind you that this video was made 10 years ago. Okay, I think over 10 years ago, to be exact. So for anybody who's just getting on board, like I mean, be thankful that it's not too late, you know, that we're not looking at maybe a treasury revaluation of, you know, of the Fort Knox assets. I mean, it would be crazy because then people would think like, wow, like I could never afford to invest in any of that stuff. You know, be thankful we're not looking at $400 ounce, well, I mean, just, I think maybe like $200 to $400 an ounce silver. You know, like these prices where they are now are still affordable, you know. And what people have to realize is like, you don't have to start with 200. You don't have to start with $4,000. You know, you can start with $10, with $20, with $30, $40. You just need to start. Because the thing is people wonder why they have to keep on working like dag, like why is it not enough? It's because of the way our economy and our monetary system is designed. It's called inflation. So it happens regardless. You know, what grandmama and granddad paid for a carton of eggs is not the same as what we pay for fuel, for clothing, for shoes, for school, for books, for anything. You know, all of these things were way cheaper, but nobody understands why they've become so much more expensive. All right. But then you may say, all right, well, they bought a wedding ring in 85, in 73, in 62, and they was able to go sell that, and they, you know, were able to get some money for it. So more than what they paid for it initially. Okay, that's because it increased in value. So that brings us to, what is a precious metal? That's what that led me to. That led me to, what's a precious metal? Okay. I'm saving in dollars. And I have this mindset of, you know, I need to get as much money as I can. I need to get as much. And that's what I'm thinking, because I don't know the difference between currency and money. So I'm thinking that these fiat notes, these dollars, these Benjamins, I'm thinking I need to stack them up. And I'm looking at my bank account, and I'm feeling good inside because I had these dollars in my bank account. But the whole time, because I don't understand what I'm looking at, I'm realizing that I'm losing. So I say, well, how do I get into precious metals? You know, how do I begin to take my currency and exchange it for money? How do I do that? What is that process? So the first thing I had to do was find out what is a precious metal. And I had to educate myself. That was the very first step. So let's see in question 3, what is a precious metal, or what are precious metals?
Well, gold and silver are the main precious metals that most people would be aware of, but there are others we also sort of look at as well. Gold and silver are obviously mainly jewellery and industrial use, but also heavily involved in investment. But platinum as well is something we should consider. Platinum jewellery takes up around 30% of the global platinum market in any 1 year. But combined with palladium and rhodium, they make up the main platinum group metals, or PGMs, and they're mainly used for industrial applications. And primarily as the auto catalyst in vehicle exhaust systems for emission control or pollution control. They're also used in glass manufacturing, in petroleum and also chemical manufacturing, as well as widely used in electronics.
That's a lot of things. That's a lot of things. He said electronics. So we got cell phones, we have laptops, we have all smart tablets, televisions, what else? The list goes on. Video cameras, microphones, I mean, you name it, it's in it. Okay, computer chips. You name it, silver is in it, and even some gold components are in it. And then when he said the autos, we have the vehicles, what do you call them? The electronic vehicles, you know, like the Teslas and the Rivians and stuff like that, the EVs. So even the catalytic converters, he said, like, you know, they're platinum. I don't think the EVs use a catalytic converter because they are combustible engines. But we still see a lot of vehicles being manufactured today that require those pieces. And also, platinum is very rare. So a lot of times, one of the things that I've been paying attention to is that platinum is usually more expensive market-wise than gold. So right now, I'm under the impression that platinum is on sale because it usually trades higher. So I don't know necessarily why, but that is what I get from the information that I've researched online, and that's what you know, like word on the precious metal streets is. So my first step was to learn what they are. The second thing to do is say, well, how do I save or invest in this? Because I don't want to buy this stuff and keep it in my house, and, you know, I don't want to do things like that. Now, some people say that they do stuff like that. Some people say you can buy what's called physical. All right. Then you have ETFs. And you know what? Let's take a look at this. Okay? Because learning how to invest in these, we want to know the ways to own, save, and invest in them. So you have physical. Like I was saying, physical is where you can buy it and then, you know, it's delivered to you. And we're going to watch videos on this stuff. And then you can have it in your possession, you know, and maybe, I don't know, you bury it. But then there also, you can store it. You can actually store it in vaulted, secure vaulted facilities. And we also going to take a look at those, because another thing that comes to mind with physical is I remember watching, you know, gangster movies and stuff like that, particularly Scarface, when, you know, you would hear people mentioning, like, you know, yeah, I got money in the Cayman Islands, I got money overseas and stuff like that. I remember I know y'all just saw the verses that just passed with No Limit and Cash Money, shout out to them. But Mia X had this verse, Mama Mia, that said, Cayman Island breeze and shopping sprees, you know. So she had a line in one of her rap songs. So being a fan of that and then always thinking like, is that something out of reach for me? You know, just being a person in the military, not consider, you know, being blue collar, not being considered to being wealthy or rich. You know, how tangible is this? How accessible is this? Can I even access something like this? And I got news for y'all. Yes. Okay. So if you want to do bullion or coins, you can go that route, and you can store them. You have Brinks, you have Wells Fargo, you have a company that we're going to examine today in the Cayman Islands called Strategic Wealth Preservation. And all of these links will be in the description to this video to help you get started. Then we have 2 precious metals ETFs. We're going to look at what those are. You need a brokerage account. You can go on your phone. If you have Cash App has a brokerage account directly with it. And I own precious metals ETF. This is one of the ways that I invest too. Precious metals ETFs, different gold stocks, miners, everything right there on your phone in the palm of your hand. You just have to do your research and find out what you're going to purchase. Jewelry is always a way to own and save and invest. All right. And we're going to get into some things to know about when you go and you purchasing jewelry. And then we have precious metal IRAs. Most people have a 401k, and it's either a traditional where it's tax deferred, meaning that you don't pay any taxes now, but you pay all the taxes in the end, which is, in my opinion, the worst thing to have if you're looking forward to have something at the end of the day. And then you have a Roth 401k, and then you have IRAs. You have a Roth IRA. You have a traditional IRA, and then you have what's called a precious metals IRA. All right, it's another name though, but they're gonna give us the name for that. And then we have a digital way as well. You know, we in the new era with cryptocurrencies and everything, and we're going to examine this company. I have them. They are an awesome company. I recommend, you know, that people go check it out, see if it fits something in the scope of them, of your desire of ways to own, save, and begin to invest in money versus currency. Taking your currency and putting it somewhere to where it can actually meaningfully grow and you don't get exhausted by inflation. Okay, so let's check out this first video on bullion and coins.
When stock tickers flash red and your dollars lose buying power, your future needs something solid. Physical gold and silver have carried value through wars, recessions, and 5,000 years of change. They're finite, independent of algorithms, and never need a power cord or password to work. So, how do you get yours safely? Order from JM Bullion, America's trusted online precious metals dealer. With 6 million orders shipped and an A+ BBB rating, we have proven security that you can hold. Shop coins, bars, and rounds. Pay by card, wire, PayPal, or e-check, all in a few clicks. Every box ships discreetly, fully insured, and tracked until it reaches you. Protect your purchasing power today and pass down treasure, not passwords, tomorrow. Feel the weight of real wealth. Visit jmbullion.com and start stacking. Because markets blink, but metals don't. Secure yours before the next headline hits.
Okay, so that right there was an example of how easy it is to be able to purchase precious metals in the physical form, bullion or coins. That was JM. There's SD Bullion. There is AntMax. There is Miles Franklin. There is goldandsilver.com. There is so many places. Strategic Wealth Preservation. you know, like there's so many places where you can go. Monetary metals. I'm gonna put all of those links there, and it'll say places to buy. Okay, places to invest. All of these things will be in the comment section, and the majority of these companies also offer IRAs, and some of them have storage ability, because when you have an IRA, you actually purchase your metals, and it's a whole process. We're gonna go through it. It's an investor, a custodian, and then you have the dealer and the storage. So it's a 4-step process, but we're gonna get into it a little bit later. But all of those companies that we list will have this availability. Okay, so now we want to get into precious metals ETFs. So we're going to watch this video, and it's going to help us understand what a precious metal ETF is.
Here's how to open a strategic wealth.
Oh, you know what? I'm moving a little bit too fast. Before we get to that, I wanted to show you guys how to open a strategic wealth preservation account. And this is what I was talking about. This was my little bonus. This bonus is because what I was talking about earlier, where wanting to have an account outside of the US, okay, where you store your money at, all right, where you have your wealth at outside of the US. This allows you to do that. Okay, remember I was talking about the movies and things like that, where it was like, man, I really wish I could have an account outside the US where it's like I can go vacation and, you know, and check on my money, right? So that's a real thing. You can do that. And trust me, you don't have to have a lot, but you have to begin. Okay, so this is a way right here for you to begin. And we're going to show you directly how to open up an account. But this is just a very quick intro to it. So you're going to have to go and do your research. But check this out, y'all. This is a really cool thing.
Reservation account. Step 1. Head over to our SWP website, swpcayman.com. Fill out a short application as an individual, business, or trust and submit your due diligence. After submitting your due diligence, your account will be reviewed within 48 hours. Step 2. Fund your account and purchase your precious metals directly from SWP, always at competitive premiums. Step 3. Store offshore in our Class 3 UL-rated vaults in the Cayman Islands, or choose from global locations like Switzerland, Singapore, Canada, USA, Dubai, or New Zealand, all with our one account, one world advantage. Already own metals? We'll help you ship and store them, no problem. Our expert logistics team handles it all. Everything is segregated, allocated, and fully insured at all times. Manage your holdings online or work directly with your personal SWP representative. We also offer cold wallet storage for digital assets. Sign up for our newsletter, enjoy expert insights, and subscribe to our YouTube channel so you always have the latest news. Happy investing.
Okay, so like I was saying, if you had some physical, you had some bullion or some coins, and then you wanted to, you wanted to send them to storage, that was a way that you can be able to send it to storage. There are multiple ways, and there's going to be links in the description, but that's a way right there that you can actually do that, and you don't have to worry about, having anything on your person, in your home, or anything like that. You can just send it off. And then, like I said, you can take a vacation and go check on your money. I think it's the most baller shit. And you don't even have to be a millionaire to do this. So next, we're going to get into number 2, our precious metals ETFs.
What is a precious metal ETF? An ETF is an exchange-traded fund. This is a group of securities or commodities which you can sell or buy on major stock exchanges around the world. Not all ETFs are listed on all exchanges, and you will usually have to go through a broker or brokerage firm to trade an exchange-traded fund. Where precious metals are concerned, ETFs allow you to speculate in gold, silver, platinum, and palladium without taking ownership of the physical commodity in question. You can also trade in nickel and copper ETFs, but these are not technically considered precious metals. The most common precious metal ETFs are gold and silver, and there is lesser interest in palladium and platinum ETFs. Understand that if you decide to venture into the world of platinum and palladium exchange-traded funds, they carry much less liquidity than gold and silver ETFs. This means it may be tough to get out of a position at the price you want when palladium and platinum are the focus of your ETF investing. There are hundreds, if not thousands, of gold and silver ETFs which are traded 24 hours a day around the world. When choosing a precious metals ETF, look at the daily, weekly, and monthly volume levels. This will immediately let you know if there is enough activity in that fund so you can enter and exit positions quickly. The more a fund is traded, the more likely you are to see reasonable ups and downs in the ETF share price, which more correctly mirrors the rising or falling value of the underlying security than if you were to trade in palladium and platinum funds. How do ETFs work? Not everyone wants to purchase precious metals and take possession of a physical commodity. Some people would like to move in and out of positions quickly, and owning the physical precious metal would make this difficult. This is what ETFs allow you to do. You should understand that new ETF shares can be created, sometimes on a daily basis. This means the value of any existing shares can be affected when new shares are released. However, it should be noted that ETF managers purchase and create shares so that the overall fund closely mirrors the movement of the underlying security. This is good news for the short-term investor. If you notice an ETF you had your eyes on is not moving in the same ratio or at the same speed of the precious metals it targets, you know the fund managers are probably going to make a correction. This means if you constantly monitor precious metal ETF share prices, you can spot opportunities for quick profits. Precious metal ETFs may focus on a single security, multiple precious metals, companies which mine precious metals, or a mixture of precious metals and non-precious metals. Talk to a local or online broker in your area for more information about how you can get started trading precious metal ETFs today.
So once again, y'all, that is a way to actually invest in precious metals. And like I said, I am not a licensed financial advisor, and this is not financial advice. I'm just sharing things from my own personal experience. And I own precious metals ETFs, a significant amount. And I mean, they're doing wonderful. It's a great time right now to be in the space. So I recommend that that you go and check that out. And it doesn't take a lot of money to start. Like you say, on Cash App, it allows you to buy fractional shares. Robinhood, fractional shares. If you're looking to actually invest some more currency, then Fidelity, open yourself a brokerage account with Fidelity or Schwab, or someone like that. The JP Morgan, I want to say is JP Morgan, huge investment banker. They had a traditional portfolio for major investors that was typically like a 60-40. It was like 60 equity and 40 bonds, where the bonds were like, the safe bet, the government bet. But right now, due to geopolitical things, the central bank has been buying a lot of, central banks across globally have been purchasing a lot of bullion, All right, a lot of gold. They're now recommending, JP Morgan, the investment firms, major, are recommending to their big clients, people with the big bucks, that they at least have a 20% allocation in their portfolio to gold and precious metals, to all silver, to platinum, palladium, because that's what the big banks are doing. All right. So if the big money is doing it, then I feel somewhat intelligent because I'm doing the same thing. And I was already interested in it prior to it became more, I guess, notable in the mainstream news and things like that. So precious metal ETFs are a great way to invest and save. So go and check that out when you get some chance. Do your own research though, because everything has risk. Moving to number 3, jewelry. All right. So when it comes to jewelry, we're going to go back to the Bose board, and it's 2 things that you really need to know before you buy jewelry. Okay. And this will help. And this is just my advice. You may take this and build on it. I encourage you to do so. You may find something else that you need to know. However, these are the things that have helped me when I, have bought some jewelry for my wife, or, bought my wedding ring or something, or a little necklace or whatever. The spot price is always good to know. All right. Specifically when it comes to gold. Okay. There are 5 types of carats or weights. You have 10 karat, 14K, 18K, 22K, and 24K. They all have a different spot price because they all have a different amount of gold in them. 24 being the most purest, and everything down to 10. Okay. So here's what it looks like. And this will take us into number 2, the second thing you need to know. I go into a store, a jewelry store, and I want to buy my wife a ring. Now, I'm not talking about diamonds. Okay. They have their own values and their own market and everything. So you will have to educate yourself on that. All right. But just to buy a gold necklace, I'm going to go buy my wife a gold bracelet for her anniversary. Okay. When I go in and I see what it is, I'm going to ask the carat. Now, I'm looking at the style of it. The style is what has me intrigued. The style is what I like. And what I mean by the style is the design of it. Okay. So now I'm asking what the carat is. Once the seller tells me what the carat is, if I know the spot price, then I can ask them to weigh it. Once they weigh it, then now I can look at the spot price and I can see, okay, well, 10 karat per gram or 10 karat per ounce. So what is, and you don't need to be a rocket science. You just need to know what to ask Siri or ask Alexa or whoever you asking on your phone. Okay. What is the current spot price for 10 karat gold? What is the current spot price for 14 karat gold? What's the current spot price for 18 karat, 22, and so forth? All right. But then it may give you an ounce price. All right. So here's the extra bit of knowledge. You're going to want to ask your device in grams. Okay. Because typically when the jeweler is selling you something, they're weighing it in grams. And they do that, because it seems like a lot of numbers. All right. I may be telling on some of them, but I don't know any jewelers personally. So I'm not giving up any secrets. I'm trying to get you the best deal and help out my viewers, so when you go in, you don't get ripped off. Okay. Because I've seen people get ripped off before. So you want to get that number from off that scale and you say, okay, let's say you're buying something and it's 20 grams. Okay. So when you ask your phone, the computer in your hand, what is the spot price of whatever the carat of that particular item is, you want to break that down into grams. So you're going to say, let's say it's an 18 karat gold bracelet. I'm going to say to my phone, Siri, can you tell me the spot price, the current spot price for 18 karat gold per gram? All right. It's going to give me that. Once it gives me that, I'm going to take that dollar amount that it gives me, and then I'm going to multiply it times whatever they say, how many grams that bracelet is. That is going to give me how much gold is in it and what I'm paying for the gold specifically. That is going to give you how much you're paying for the gold. All right. Whatever the price above that is what they're paying you for the style, for the design, what they took to make it. You can always negotiate that. That is what you're going to be able to negotiate. Okay. But it allows you to know if you need to leave the store and go get some more money because you don't even have enough for spot. Or if you think that your talk game is slick enough to get them to lose money. I doubt it. Okay. But it keeps you in the know because that is things to know before you go buy jewelry. Okay. So I hope that was helpful. But we're going to go ahead and move on. So now we get to precious metals IRA. And I love these. I have one of these myself. And I recommend people get precious metals IRA. That's why I was telling you, like, I don't do one. I don't do the physical. I do ETFs, IRA, and I do digital. Okay. So I love precious metal IRAs, and I do physical, but it's in my IRA. So that's the difference. And I'm going to take you to the Cayman Islands again. So that way they can break it down. And it's a really, really good explanation. And let's go ahead and get into it.
In today's episode of Inside the Vault, we're going to be talking about a very important investment opportunity for American citizens, self-directed precious metal IRAs. If you're an American and you don't know what a self-directed precious metals IRA is, I urge you to continue watching. And even if you do know what a self-directed IRA is, you're probably going to learn something new from today's episode, as it relates specifically to precious metals. Let's get to it. A precious metals IRA is a special form of individual retirement account that allows you to hold physical precious metals as part of your retirement portfolio. Conventional 401k plans don't typically allow employees to hold precious metals, especially physical precious metals, whereas a self-directed precious metals IRA, either traditional or Roth, will allow the investor to invest in physical gold and silver bars and coins. Investing in gold and silver in a precious metal IRA has significant benefits, similar to those in investing in gold and silver in your non-registered account. For example, protecting yourself against volatile markets or against inflation. Also, holding gold and silver in a traditional or Roth IRA has significant tax benefits. Generally, when you're executing a purchase of precious metals for your self-directed IRA, there are 4 parties involved. The first party is you, the investor. The second party is the custodian or administrator of the IRA. The third party is the precious metals dealer, and the fourth party is the secure storage facility where your precious metals will reside. One of the advantages of working with SWP is we can act both as the precious metals dealer and the secure storage provider to safekeep your precious metal assets. SWP has partnered with two reputable IRA custodians, Preferred Trust Company and Advanta IRA. Working with either of these custodians, you can purchase and store precious metals either offshore in the Cayman Islands or domestically in the United States. The first step is to open your account with Preferred Trust or Advanta IRA. The second step is to fund your account. Please note that you won't be able to purchase your precious metals until your IRA account is funded. You'll also have the option to transfer metals from an existing precious metals IRA to either Preferred Trust or Advanta. Step 3 is to elect SWP as your precious metals dealer and depository using the bi-direction letter. Once you've funded your account, elected SWP, you can then proceed to purchase your precious metals for your self-directed IRA. Once your purchase has been completed, we'll send a copy of the purchase invoice to your selected IRA custodian, and the metals will be deposited to your IRA account.
Could I come get my box and look inside of my box?
You absolutely can, but what's interesting, if you're a self-directed IRA client of Preferreds, you as a custodian would have to give us, the vault, permission to allow your client to do that. Because although it's their metal, you're the custodian. So we have to check with you guys first. We would call you, make an appointment on behalf of your client, and they could do that.
True statement, because the custodial account is held under Preferred Trust Company, is that correct?
Effectively, you're our client. Not all precious metal products qualify for a self-directed IRA. The precious metals must meet minimum purity requirements. I recommend that you speak to one of our account representatives to review which products do qualify for self-directed IRAs. There are also annual contribution deadlines and limits. We recommend that you speak to your custodian for more details.
Okay. So one of the questions that when you saw the lady asking, and this is where I was talking about, where you heard me talking about earlier, that, you know, you can go on vacation and check on your money, you know? So this is the reason why, you know, I don't do the physical or try to have a whole bunch of jewelry and stuff, because honestly, I just want the value. I want the value of it. You know, I want the monetary value of it. If it goes to, you know, if the price of precious metals continue to increase, then that's what I want to see. I just want to see the nominal value increase in my particular IRA, you know, or in my ETFs, you know, or in my digital wallet. So I don't want anything to have to, you know, potentially, you know, defend myself from, because people are lazy, you know, or, you know, you never know what can happen. So these are the safe things that I think are better in ways to own and save and invest. These are the safe ways: the ETFs, the IRAs, and then the fifth thing what we're going to go into is digital. Now, you can do physical and you can do jewelry, and you can have a safe deposit box in the bank, or you can have your own storage. So you can choose to do that, but there are costs associated with that as well. So, you know, I look at try to minimize your costs, you know, and then really what are your goals? So you have to determine what are your goals for yourself and what you're really trying to do with it. And, you know, once you do your research and you look at what your goal is, then you'll figure that out.
Out of control inflation, escalating government debt, gas and energy bills burning through your savings, and a spiraling war in Europe. The world feels like a very uncertain place right now, and it's harder and harder to take control of your money and safeguard your savings. I mean, why would anyone want to keep their money in a bank that's only going to lend it out for its own profit? putting your savings at risk. And for what? A pittance in interest? Well, let me tell you about Glint and how they can help you to save in real gold you can spend like dollars. Now, first off, Glint's not a bank or crypto or some new type of credit card. What Glint provides is the ability and freedom to buy, save, and spend real allocated gold that's secured in Brink's vaults and insured by Lloyd's of London. Glint's Smart app and MasterCard is leading the payments revolution, putting you in control of your money by making real gold, trusted for thousands of years, into an instant, secure digital currency for the modern world. Best of all, your gold is always your gold. It's no one else's liability. It's secure and allocated to you. It never goes away, even in a crash. To learn more, go to glintpay.com or download Glint from your favorite app store. It's time to take control of your money and protect it with the time-tested security of gold and the modern digital convenience of Glint. Gold is security. Glint, it's key.
Yep, I think that's so kick-ass that they do that. I think Glint is really kick-ass. Like I said, y'all, all of the links to everything plus more will be in the description of this video. And we're going to close it out going back to the Bose board. You know, this is our chalkboard, the Bose board. To recap tonight of what we discussed, we talked about currency versus money, and I encourage you all to go and check out goldsilver.com, or Mike Maloney and the Hidden Secrets of Money. The link will be in the description for both of those, for all of that, all of his stuff, his Twitter, everything, so you can follow him and keep up with him and everything. Because one thing is, I had a conversation with somebody and I was asking them, I said, you know, why is it that people have such a hard time receiving the things from me? And they said, because, you know, they don't think that you're smart enough. And I'm like, well, I'm not. I had to go learn things. So, you know, I don't have a problem with sharing who I'm learning things from. And he's an educator, and man, it's refreshing to know. So we also talked about tonight an intro to precious metals. I hope that if you didn't know anything about precious metals, that your curiosity was piqued, and that you maybe you know, start a journey into trying to, you know, diversify your portfolio. You know, I guess that will be fitting for today with the current times and the markets and everything and what we're seeing going on. And remember, one thing that stood out is that Mike Maloney said this is the greatest wealth transfer in history and the greatest opportunity in history for all of us. You know, so I definitely want to thank everybody for pulling up tonight. Don't forget, we got 15% off right now at the DB Chef TV gift shop. Also, y'all, share the video. We appreciate if you give us a like. And I hope you got something useful and helpful out of tonight's show. Make sure to have a peaceful, positive, and productive rest of your week. And stop back through DB Chef TV tomorrow night, late night show. We got the Love Speak podcast going down with myself and Billy Badass Joe. It's going to be a great show. So y'all come check us out. And once again, it's always time to eat with financial fundamentals right here at Bowls on the Table. We'll see y'all next time. Peace.
This whole publication is all about going from nowhere to somewhere, right? Being able to stand on something so that you can travel in peace, right? So bksoulfarm.com, 1016-160 self-sustainability. Jump on the list and get yourself together, right? Because it is irresponsible to not even know what responsibility means. So get yourself together, food, clothing, and shelter, protection of that, support your interests, and live.
Some say that art imitates life, but we say that life is art. So visit the DB Chef TV gift shop and get 15% off of your next masterpiece of fashion. How do you get there? Simply tap the link in the description. At the Veteran Kettle Podcast, we thank you for your service, support, and sacrifice to our country. Listen to real stories of adversity and triumph as we give our best to honor our vets. Subscribe today and watch episodes now streaming on YouTube at TVK Podcast, The Veteran Kettle. If it's Friday night and you don't have a date, then brunch with the fellas is your spot, so don't be late. We go up at 9 p.m. with the trending topic news. Smash the like, comment, subscribe, and share the content. Don't be rude. At Brunch Fellas, now streaming on YouTube. Love ain't always easy, and we won't stop until we get it right. So bring that ass to the Love Speak Podcast. Subscribe today and let your love speak at TLS Podcast. The Love Speak, now streaming on YouTube. Exchange insights Sundays at 8 p.m. East Coast time with the Cigar Panel, smoking on words like two big nerds, hosted by DB Chef TV and BK Soul Farm at Cigar Sundays on YouTube. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so when they go live, you never miss an episode of Cigar Sundays Live.
Sign up for the newsletter and shop merch and clothing at www.dbcheftv.com.